And I was wondering if you can give some perspective to other youth around that same age as some kind of triggers or some kind of early warnings of what these guys would be saying. How do they get you in? What are the words they use?
Well, they usually, I mean, nobody really goes and just says, hey, you want to join a militia, or hey, you want to come to Ukraine and come fight with the Azov battalion. You know, it's like they don't necessarily say that. It's a gradual transition, and usually it starts with, you know, common interests. So you'll find somebody that you play video games with, or you find somebody that's actively playing these games to coerce and recruit people, or they go on forums with the intent to go and proliferate ideology. And with the internet, the overwhelming majority of users are what you call lurkers, and lurkers do not post content. And ideology, so this ranges from groups like Al-Qaeda, ISIS, to, you know, neo-Nazis to communists, you know, a wide spectrum of radical movements. They understand that whoever controls basically, like, they don't make up the majority, but if they have a megacom, or if they have some kind of, you know, radio tower, you might have one guy saying stuff, but it creates a very loud minority. It creates a very, very loud way of getting their point across, even if it's, you know, not a popular belief system.
Now, you mentioned brotherhood. You know, how long was it since when you were in your forums did you feel a connection to a recruiter or to somebody who was actively trying to get you in? How long was that?
That was within about a year. And, you know, in high school I was able to find other kids with similar, you know, belief systems, and, you know, we would hang out and stuff. And, you know, it wasn't anywhere near to the same extent, but when I started hanging out with Brandon, and when I started hanging out with other members of Atomwaffen, the group that I was in, basically that led to me getting really pulled down the rabbit hole, if you will. And, you know, when you're at that age, you know, every kid, you know, people, this might sound strange, but, you know, it makes sense to both of us, but it's like, you know, every boy really likes guns, you know, in America. Like, I'll just say it, like a lot of kids, they play Call of Duty, they play Halo, they watch for action movies. So, you know, when you get to shoot guns, and everybody likes money, and when you have money, when you're at that age, you think $500 might as well be $1 million. So when you're selling guns, and you're shooting guns, and you're hanging out, and you're going and doing this, that, or the other, you know, you're really not living a high life at all. You're not really you're not Billy Badass. You know, you're just basically you think that it's all that, but you don't have enough life experience to differentiate that this really is not a sustainable way of living. This is very self-destructive.